Fasted cardio has long been a tool that people use in an attempt to burn more fat during a cardio session. The idea behind it is that by going into your workout in a fasted state, the amount of available glycogen will be low and the body will have to rely more on fat as a source of energy than it typically would. And on the surface, I actually think this makes sense. Generally speaking, when both fat and carb sources are available to be oxidized to make the body's energy molecule, adenosine triphosphate, or ATP, the body will trend more towards carbohydrate utilization as the intensity of the exercise increases. This is what leads people to believe that if you go into exercise without that carb source available, the body will have no choice but to break down more fat for energy. This meta-analysis of fasted versus fed cardio actually does show this to be consistently true for low to moderate intensity exercise, that when exercising in a fasted state, your body will utilize more fat as its primary source of energy than it would if exercising in a fed state. There are a few issues with this approach that we can see in the scientific literature, and by examining what those issues are, it can help us to answer the question, fasted versus fed cardio, which is better for fat loss? While fasted cardio might be a better way to mobilize fat, that's not necessarily the same thing as achieving a net fat loss in the body. This 2014 study by Brad Schoenfeld and colleagues examined the effects of fasted cardio versus fed cardio when calories and macronutrients were matched between groups. The result of the study was that there was no significant difference between the amount of weight or the amount of fat lost by either group at the end of the 4-week intervention. So the question then becomes, why? If fasted cardio has been shown to make the body utilize more fat oxidation as its primary source of energy, then how is it not causing more of a total fat loss than the fed cardio group? The answer actually comes in what happens to our bodies after the fasted exercise. We need to remember that while exercise is a great way to burn calories, and there's a lot of ATP production happening during exercise, we're also burning calories all throughout the day, even when we're at rest. So while you might be able to force your body to utilize more fat during the workout, later in the day when you eat, suddenly it'll have a carb source available and less fat than it normally would at that time, and so it's going to compensate by utilizing more carbs for energy than fat. Metabolism is a constant balance of breaking down and building up. So when you're looking at fat loss, you need to look over a longer period of time than just an hour or so. You also need to understand that there's one thing that determines whether or not you will achieve a net fat loss over a period of time, and that is a calorie deficit. Since adipose tissue, or what most of us know as body fat, is your body's way to store excess energy, the only way to force it to break down that fat and keep it off is to eat less energy, or calories, than you're expending over a day, a week, a month, or any length of time. Forcing your body to break down fat will do nothing if you're eating in a calorie surplus, and the excess energy just gets restored as more body fat. So knowing that increased fat utilization seems to be fairly irrelevant, the next logical thing to look at is, does fasted or fed cardio cause more calorie burn? Fasted cardio's relevance seems to come in that low to moderate intensity range, whereas fed cardio is providing more of the energy substrate for the higher intensity exercise. Now, the higher the intensity of the cardio, obviously the more calories you're going to burn if the time frame is matched. That's not to say that if you're someone who enjoys lower intensity cardio, that's totally fine. You'll just have to do it for a little bit longer in order to burn the same calories. Fasted cardio can be a useful tool for some people for calorie restriction. There might not be any real benefit from a fat loss standpoint, but if it helps you to restrict your window, you wake up, you go do your cardio, and then you eat, versus you wake up, you eat, you do your cardio, and then you eat again, if it helps you to lower your calorie intake by restricting that window, it can be a useful tool for fat loss that way. So which one is better for fat loss? Fasted or fed cardio? Personally, I would say that fed cardio is the better option. Since the research shows no real benefit to fasted cardio from a fat loss perspective, I would say that just focusing on having the most energy for your exercise so that you can burn the most calories is going to be the most beneficial for fat loss. But that's going to do it for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Give my video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.